Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's me, Carol from Egypt. I'm so grateful to stand in front of you all, even if it's virtually. My project I'll be presenting today is Afaq. Afaq in Arabic, it means the thin line between the earth and the sky. And I believe that each architect has this thin line between him, the emotional one and the functional one. As you can see, this photo is taken by me from the site. As an introductory photo for the site, you will see more of this. So you can see that we got people who can build for themselves and build for their homes. Also, you can see in this photo how he can manipulate the building techniques. So he builds as an architect without being an architect. So the project is okay. This is the part of Ramlet Bulak in Egypt. It's one of the most unsafe parts in Egypt. It has a very high crime rates, and as you can see from this part is the abandoned factories. It's very coarse grain. It's very bulky, and as you can see, this part is the newest part. It's very thin, and as you can see, this very coarse, this very fine grain, the very small and dense scale plots. This is my plot for today and what I'm discussing for. So, as you can see, this is the most recent photo I've taken for this place. As you can see, the contrast between the towers on the behind of the small houses, they call it slums in Egypt, but I don't like to call it this way. So this incremental settlements, it's very narrow. With reflecting to the Nile City towers, it's very small and it's having a very great contrast for the towers itself. So why are those photos taken pixelated? Because as I said, those photos are this place is very unsafe. You cannot enter. And when I got to engage with them and take photos for the site, they were so afraid to let me in, as if I'm a stranger. So they don't want me to go in. So they call this housing techniques they do العشش. And this عشة in Egypt, it's like the nest for the birds. The bird do nests for their children. They also have this technique. They call it as a nest. So you can see that how the mother and father are building for their children in this land to live. And I want you to concentrate on this photo because it defines the grain I am talking about so much. So we will use it more after. Also, this is the life there. This is the contrast between people. So we're rising high towers and we're forgetting that there are people that living poorly there. So as you can see, this is the new streets built to make people happy, but definitely they're not happy right now because they build with not their activities. So when I got to search for the activities men should do. And why do I say men? Because women there are treated like second-hand human beings. So it's not the first degree, it's not the dominant one in the family. So mothers are the second place in the family. So it's not paid attention to. And the father is the provider. So men are having so many activities before 11th revolution. As you can see, they had to go to their work in the factories, they had a craftsmanship, they had workshops, but after they go to 5 prayers each day and they use the mosque, then after they use the spatial that's called al-kahwa, and this is a cheap place to sit in to drink tea and smoke in the culture of Egyptian people. So when they take the 6 meters from the street to do the parking of the Nile City Towers, they demolished the part of the mosque and they demolished the part of the kahwa. So they are taking the culture from them. So this part of the place, it's been, and that's what gave me the idea of building through this culture. And when AYDA Awards is talking about the cultural convergence conversion layer, I didn't put it as a layer in my design. I tried to manipulate the design to have each and every step taken from the culture conversion layers. So also we will go to Norman Foster's proposal. He gave a proposal to this Egyptian follow that he made this sketch to try to move vertically. So but what I criticized in this project, it's very good and very good technique to solve this problem. But as you can see, he didn't bother to make people build for themselves. So he tried to build for them places, but he didn't think that with this Egyptian culture, people like to build for themselves, to build their techniques for what it's appealing to them to live in. So also we can conclude a problem statement from all of this that Ramlet Bula, this part, is having an overpopulation and then informal settlements. Also, it lost its identity for people to have craftsmanship because they went to the towers to work as a security guards and they left their craftsmanship. So also it's have the contrast between the high-rise buildings and this small-scale housing. And what I started to think of, what if I didn't start it architecture way, but I started the engineering way. And this engineering way took a place to put the guidelines for people to build for themselves. So I'm having people that builds how to embrace more their building techniques. So I wouldn't be building for them. They would build themselves. I'm just the architect. I'm the maestro who's gonna put the guidelines for people. So I started with putting those frames, that structure that will manipulate the building techniques they are doing. So they are living in their places, but with my guidelines. So here is the smartness and how to build. As you can see that I need him to know when he will find this V or this X in the column, this is the end of the plot, so he should end it. So when he come to this part, he knows that this is the other end. And I will give him some small techniques to build with, so the frame will appear by this shape, this one. So he will see that when I have an X, it's the vertical we can go. So the structure is very clear and transparent. And this what's solving the problem of not having a drug dealing anymore. So there's no tight corners at the photo I told you to concentrate in. There's no tight corners to hide in anymore. So as if the structure raised the houses to 2 floors to make it clear to each and every one in the street. So no hiding anymore. As you can see, I started with making the main spine to make the maneuvering easily. I started to put the mobile learning hubs and the green landscape zones, culture and entertainment zone, to give them the quality of life they need, as if I put together all the things that I need them to learn. And also the classrooms is very fit to the workshops, so they can interact with the people that have the craftsmanship and learn more. So as you can see, also I have the great bulk of the zoning for the residential zones and the main focus of the problem I have. Also, you can see that this ground master plan, it will have the workshops in each plot for each family, the workshops to revive more their craftsmanship. Also, it will have the landscape part, it will have the theoretical classrooms to learn more, it will have the seating areas, and it will have the mosque part and the entertainment zone. So as if I made this plan, they are building randomly, so I made them build their way, but I made it just more clear, as if my input as an architect to put just the guidelines, but to embrace more their talents. And this is the section. The story that the section tells is when we do this reviving the men activity I talked about, I revived it vertically, as I wanted Norman Foster to do. So this workshop's base, as past, men used to have the workshops under their residential parts. So I made this workshops, and when he finished his work, he go to the man zone, the kahwa, to revive more his culture and social intelligence. Also, we go to the private part that's residential for the families, and we go to the most private part for women to embrace women more and to make them have an activity timeline as men. So this part is talking about the self-sufficient mezzanine to make women to do two things, two main activities she do in their day. The laundry, and it's a big part from Egyptian culture. Women also do laundry with each other, and it's like a social interaction with them. Also, the self-sufficient mezzanine is to plant greenery for the daily food they do. So, about the materials we will build with, I didn't have to dig deep because the materials are very clear from the site. He's having the techniques, so people there are having to build on concrete bricks, and you will see when I got there that he dig the wood in material, in a liquid material that helps the wood to be stiff more, so it won't be bending anymore. So he make with it the stairs, and he can open windows, as you can see here, from the wood panels. Also, he can do his doors. So I will just help him with the abandoned materials in the factories that are abandoned in this place. And we have all the confirmation from the government in Egypt to do this because these materials are already dead. And also, as my study diagrams for this project, I started to make the window is very narrow just to give the privacy and just to give the sunlight. And they don't need more openings more than this. It's very sufficient for their privacy. Also, you will see that I made those stripes in the ceiling, this inclined ceiling to help from the sun radiation, and this stripes to give the sun to the self-sufficient mezzanine for the greenery part. And as you can see, this, what I'm talking about, the structure is transparent and clear, no more hiding and no more drug dealing in this crime scenes. So you will see how I put this plot standing out beside the old plots. So, I mean, when we go to a culture conversion layer, we don't have to put a layer in a culture conversion that says that this is a culture. But we should design each and every step we're having with culture. So we should revive each and every step with this. So in the rendered shots, you will see how people is interacting the same way they do, but they use the terraces in a more smart way right now. They use the contrast in a very smart way right now. You will see the selling part they do as if they are doing. So we're just embracing the culture. You will see the culture is more embraced, but not changed a lot. So I'm changing from this part, from this randomization to this guidelines. Also, this is the thin pattern I talked about and how this thin pattern could be changed to this more smart one. Also, that's a serial vision for me to revive more how should people interact again and how they should revive their activities again. This also is the part of the mosque and the safety part of the ambulance they need there. So that's for my project. And one thing I needed to do is when I die, they remember me with the one who's building from people and to people. Thank you so much. Any questions?